Hello everybody and welcome to the 2022 edition of Feeding the Habit. I did this way back in 2020. It wasn't very good, but now I've got a little bit more oomph to it. I have a cameraman, I have a microphone. Still going to be doing some voiceover, but this is just me, collecting video games and going to a big giant flea market and seeing what deals I can find. So you're going to see some footage, some voiceovers, some cool stuff. So yeah. It's just started. God, I'm so good at talking. So I got up bright and early at 8:30 a.m. For reference, I normally get up at about 2 p.m. because I work a night job. So, clearly I was, in my game. The first place we stopped was a pretty big lot. As you can see, it's very crowded and very fun.
Alright, here we are at the biggest flea market in America. That's probably not true, but it gets clicks. Hi. I'm gonna spend too much money on things that I don't need, probably overheat and maybe die from a heat stroke, but that's content. So we're gonna get to it. I'm already done. Last year it was so rainy and not good.
So the first guy we stopped at is there every single year, and he's always kind of my first go-to booth. He used to be pretty tight with his prices, and would never budge on anything. But where I just kept showing up and kept, coming to his booth, he started working with prices better on me. He cuts me a lot of deals. Today I was kind of more interested in finding Dreamcast games, some PS3 stuff, and just whatever really piqued my interest. But Dreamcast and PS3 was the big stuff this year for me. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of either. Well, there's a lot of PS3 stuff I found, but nothing I needed. But Dreamcast was slim to none this year. As you can see, this guy has just almost everything. I mean, he has more and more every year I see him. I never fail to stop into his shop, and his prices really aren't that bad at all. Plus, he, works deals with you. A lot of people who have just solely video game booths at flea markets are resellers, where they come in early in the morning, get all the games they can, and sell them for crazy prices, and never budge on them to get way more. Sitting right there is a Pizza Hut demo disc that I've kind of been on a demo disc kick, and ended up picking up quite a bit at this flea market, as you'll see. I don't know why I like demo discs so much. As something that you used to get for free, now I pay for. So, clearly I'm in a good business here. He had a bunch of handheld game stuff, DS and Game Boy, which I'm kind of, I'm leaning more towards Game Boy Color games, but also I have a soft spot for the DS. One game I'd been looking for was Elite Beat Agents, which is a game you used to find everywhere all the time, and now that I'm looking for it, you can't find it because I had a copy and misplaced it, sold it, something when I was a kid. And I've been on the hunt for that game for I don't know how long now, and I just can never seem to come across a copy of it. So you see right here I have 2 Dreamcast memory units and the demo disc. He wanted 10 each for those and 5 for the demo disc. I got everything for 20. He always makes deals with me. One of those memory units are just a regular third-party one. The other one's a third-party Japanese one. So I had to pick both of those up. This guy always works really well with me on prices, and I mean, you can't. That's a pretty good bargain.
Oh, there's a Luigi bong. It's time to go.
This next booth had a bunch of official band merch. I was specifically looking for Offspring merch, which is my favorite band, and everywhere I go there is never ever Offspring t-shirts or Offspring anything. And this booth was no different, so I had no luck there at all. I looked at that entire rack, every rack they had, and nothing for the band that I wanted.
Finally. I've been looking for so long for the Instinct toys.
This next booth had a lot of handmade D&D stuff. I've never talked about it on the channel, but I really do enjoy D&D. Everything here is handmade. They had this really cool little thing where you pay $5 and they give you a token, and there's a little twisty, one of those little gumball machines, but it has mystery stuff in it. And so clearly I had to do that because I have a gambling problem. It took me a couple tries to actually get it to work because I don't leave the house, and apparently I don't know how gumball machines work. As you see, I tried and it still didn't happen. There it is. It was really cool. Opened up, and there was a cool little like pink D20, which I actually wanted a pink D20, so that lined up well. And it had like little gems in there too. It was really really cool. This guy had a bunch of collectibles, mostly like Marvel stuff. There's like a Fantastic Four figure up here of Doctor Doom that I remember having as a kid, or my brother had it as a kid. I don't remember which one, but I know that this toy was in my childhood, and so it kind of sparked a little nostalgia. He also had a lot of comics. I've slowly started getting into collecting single issue comics, but most of the time I kind of stray away from it unless they have full series of single issue comics, because I hate like picking and choosing different issues when it's, you know, puzzle piecing together a series. I like to kind of buy it all at once, or at least most of it at once. Oh yeah, there's a Batman Fortnite little tab there. There are no Batman Fortnite comics. Didn't know that was a thing, but the tag was there, so I guess, you know, it was a hot seller and they all sold out. So I don't buy CDs at flea markets. It's not really my thing. But every time I see a box of CDs when I'm at a flea market, I always look through them, because you never know if somebody had a old PC game or a PlayStation 1 or Dreamcast game, you know, laying around, and they put it in a box thinking it was a CD. It happens a lot more often than you think, so whenever you're at a flea market, you see a giant box of CDs, always look through them, because 9 times out of 10, there's a video game in there. I was also looking for Star Wars collectibles. I didn't really find a whole lot, but I was getting stared down by a terrifying man doll. After that, we found a little basket full of old PC shooters. There was Doom 2, Quake, Quake 2, Quake Arena. I decided not to get them, but my trusty cameraman decided to get those instead, because I'm not really huge on collecting jewel case PC games, at least not yet. This is a little Jay and Silent Bob Mini-Mates figures. I have the Clerks ones. I don't have these. He had 15 on it, so I kind of haggled it down to 10 and ended up picking those up. Almost picked up this Simpsons Season 6 set. I didn't, because I don't really like those sets. I'd rather have the ones in the regular boxes, because those look absolutely terrible on a shelf. Because I'm trying to collect all the Simpsons seasons, but I really just don't want these cases, because they're disgusting to look at on a shelf. So here is another video game booth. The prices weren't as great here. Some of them were alright, some of them weren't. I did get little tiny deals on there, but I also found a beautiful, beautiful item. I did find a ton of demo discs at this booth. The only problem was he had them individually priced, you know, like $9 to $15, which I'll pay for demo discs, but I think $15 for not even full games is a little outrageous sometimes, unless it's like a big collector item. I tried to get a deal and say like, hey, how much for every single one of the demo discs you have, and he had like 10, 15 of them, and he was like, $75. I was like, would you go any lower than that? He goes, nope. So I just grabbed a couple that kind of stood out to me, along with a few other games. He also had a GBA to GameCube link cable, and then when I went to buy it, he said that he was not selling it, that he doesn't sell parts. He thought it was part to the Game Boy player for the GameCube, which it is not. It's a totally standalone thing, but I could not convince him that it was a standalone thing, so he would not sell it to me. Right now you're seeing me discuss prices with him. The mic for some reason cut out during this part, and this is me checking my wallet to see, you know. I had a lot more demo discs, but his price was kind of too much than I was willing to pay, so I did put a few back and then negotiated a little bit more, and we came to an agreement on some items. As you can see, I've got a good little stack there. I think it was 23 altogether for that stack. And of course, you gotta shake hands to seal the deal. Here is me on the phone with a friend of mine who was there, who told me that somebody had a game that I've been looking for quite some time now. Unfortunately, the game was not complete. You'll see what it is here in a second, but this is me on the phone with him trying to find what booth it is at and then rushing to that booth. I just want to clarify, I never buy loose games, ever, but this is a game I had been looking for a long time, and it's a pretty expensive game. He wanted 20 bucks for both discs, which is a good deal because he said they were tested and that they worked. I checked them out, they were clean, so I would have been kicking myself if I didn't get them, and I can always get a duplicate case, you know, on Mercari or something like that, because, I mean, that's like a $75 to $80 game I'm getting for 20 bucks, and I just want to play it. Eventually I'll get a case, but I would have really regretted it if I passed that up and didn't end up getting it. This booth was really cool because the lady there, she was selling games that were, if the video game you bought was 20 or more, you would get a game for 20 or less for free, which not a lot of people were doing anything like that. So like if you get two $20 games, you're only paying $20. So I was looking there for a while and went through her bins and stuff and did find a few cool games. At this point, there wasn't really any more video games we were finding, but I still stopped anytime I saw collectibles or anything like that just to take a peek through. Didn't really have a whole lot of luck with, you know, what I was looking for, but it's still always really cool to look through stuff like that because, you know, I'm there, I may as well. At this point, we had been there for quite some time. I got there at 9 in the morning. At this point, it was around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. I was tired, I was hot, I was dying, and we decided it was time to call it a day. So now that you've seen all of that tomfoolery, I'm going to show you what I picked up there. The first thing I forgot to put on camera was the Muppet Movie vinyl soundtrack. I love vinyls and I love Muppets, so that's kind of a no-brainer. Next up is the demo discs. Sorry, the camera cut off. But yeah, Pizza Hut demo disc. I may have this one already. I'm not sure. I haven't had the chance to check. Then this one, which is from the PlayStation magazine. It's a PS2 or PlayStation Underground. My bad. PlayStation Underground. It looks spooky. I don't know what's on it. I think it might be Siren, but I'm not 100% sure. Then another PlayStation Underground one. A Sly Cooper on it. Of course, I'm a fan of that. This is another PS1 demo disc from PlayStation Magazine. The reason I got it is because there's playable demos and non-playable, and one of the non-playable ones are Silent Hill. Believe it or not, I like Silent Hill. Next is this one. It's got the PlayStation 2 on the front of it, but it's not a PlayStation 2 demo disc, it's a PS1 demo disc. It's just advertising the PS2, which is really cool. This came out right when the PS2 was coming out, so they wanted to advertise it and be like, hey, buy it. Then the Jay and Silent Bob figures I was talking about, that was on camera. And here are the Dreamcast memory units. I'm not going to call them VMUs because they're not visual. They're third party. There's the American and the Japanese one. And this, of course, the Holy Grail. Donkey Kong Country, the short-lived animated series, completely sealed. Still got the factory seal on it. That's a no-brainer. We have Shrek 2 on PS2. Probably not a very good game, but I had to get it. Crazy Taxi on PS2. I have the Dreamcast version, but I wanted the PlayStation 2 version as well because I'm such a big, Crazy Taxi fan. The Sopranos on PS2. I've heard that game is ridiculous, so I had to get it. And here it's in a rental case, which sucks because I don't like rental cases, but this game isn't really that wonderful anyway. The Simpsons Skateboarding, I hear this game is terrible, so of course I had to get it. It was cheap. And then the Evil Dead, what's the game called? Hail to the King on PS1 is over there in little baggies. I don't want to handle them too much, with risk of scratching them because they don't have a case. But yeah, that's the pickups. Everything was about $120 all together, so that's a pretty decent haul. If you ask me, of course, some of the money I spent went to getting a drink or food or whatever, because they have tons of food and drink vendors there. Love going to the flea market, and I'm probably going to do this again next year. Feeding the Habit won't be a super regular series, but it will be, something I want to continue doing. Also, don't worry, the Big Dumb Fella Show is still in production. I'm still working on that. The next episode is written, gameplay footage is got, I just need the time to film it. But yeah, so a lot more stuff coming up. Look forward to that. Thank you for watching this. I really hope you enjoyed it. Trying something a little new, which is all I do on this channel. But I really do appreciate it if you watched it all the way through. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Let me know if you had any cool pickups recently, anything like that. You know, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Click it. Just click it. It takes like 2 seconds. You can look away and do it. Also ring that notification bell to get notified every time I upload, because apparently my uploads aren't really reaching everybody. And yeah, like I said, I really appreciate everybody watching. Thank you for sticking with me while my channel is so confused about what it wants to be, but things are going to kick in gear soon. I just need the time to do it. So again, thank you all, and I'll see you.